Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to Tea Time with the Lovelies. This is episode 2, and as promised, today we will be talking about the show Southern Fried Rice. Um the premise of the show, it's this Korean American girl named Coco. She's adopted by two married couple from the Navy. They adopt her in Korea, bring her over to America to Georgia, and she grows up around Black people and ends up going to a HBCU. Um, Main enemy is this plus size dark skinned Black girl named Joy, who's also her roommate, and the main struggles is her being in a HBCU and boys.
Mind you, her parents are black. Her adoptive parents.
Yeah, her adoptive parents are Black. Cute. The show was very I could tell the person who wrote this show wasn't did not grow up as a Black American, went to the HBCU. Nothing about the college culture made any sense at all. Um, so the first problem that we found wrong with the show is honestly the character Joy. Um, like I said, she's a plus size Black girl, but when we first see her. Oh, by the way, Coco has this Black friend named Tammy who, despite her being a smart student, gets pregnant. And that's like a whole side story. But basically, Tammy, her mom, and Coco move into the dorm, but Coco had to go talk to her RA. And so Tammy and her mom went to the room first. And Joy thought Tammy was her roommate, rightfully so. This is a HBCU. As we can see in the show, there's no other ethnicity in this school. It's literally just Black people. So she thinks, based off of her roommate's decor, she's gonna have a Black roommate. The first thing she says to Tammy is, "Oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. What are your pronouns?" And then for whatever reason, she sees Coco, and the whole script is flipped, and now she's being racist towards Coco the entire time, or for majority of it.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody who asks you who your pronouns are is gonna be mean to you just because you're Asian at a HBCU. Also, did you mute yourself? Oh,
I did earlier.
It was also dumb because, like, we're supposed to hate Joy, but the only thing that I don't fuck with Joy was her making those remarks about Coco, like call her like stir fry rice or whatever, just really dumb shit. And then it's like that was the only thing I disagreed about because they ended up having a game night, and they're supposed to Joy and Coco are supposed to have some like tension going on, and people ended up letting Coco like win the game or whatever because Coco knew just as much as Joy. And Joy's like, "Oh yes, let's give it up for the culture vulture," like da da like, and all this stuff. And Coco's like, um, "I may not be Black, I've lived the Black experience." But then it's completely contradicted because later there's a whole nother plot, but later she completely contradicts herself by saying this. So it was like, how can people really disagree with Joy when Coco is herself is like kind of contradicting herself by saying she's lived the Black experience, but later in the series she like knows nothing about Black culture.
right. It's also just not true. Just because you were raised by Black people doesn't mean you're living the Black experience. You're getting Black culture, but you're still Asian.
And my major complaint with the show, how it's written and like how it's filmed, because you can always tell that it's low budget in the high school.
Right.
No wonder they put the episode.
Some episodes are all like 10 minutes long.
And there's
Also,
a
just
whole lesbian subplot. There's
yeah,
like two to three
it's like
different subplots going on. There's
yeah, like
one with Tammy, then there's one with the two boy love interests that she's in because they're like,
mhm.
no, only one of the boy love interests, the one that she really likes, has a whole thing with his like half brother. And they comment that on in the show. They're like, you don't have a half brother, you just have a brother, which is true. And then there's like there's actually three. The lesbian subplot with the RA because the like apparently the princess of the school, she's like lesbian, but she's in the closet. So she has lesbian sex with the RA, but then has regular sex or heterosexual sex with other guys. And there's the other subplot of the other girl in the friend group who is also so happen to be a lesbian that's going out with the RA as well. And then there's a subplot with the light skinned girl that's a slut thinking that she has gonorrhea because one of the guys she's sleeping with has she thinks she has gonorrhea because the other guy has antibiotics that's commonly used for gonorrhea, but it can be used for other things. And then there's a whole subplot with Tammy being pregnant and deciding to get an abortion and Coco not being there for her because she goes on a date with a guy. Mind you, the whole reason Coco has a whole love triangle is because this was something that we was also like annoyed about. So one of the big valid fights between Coco and Joy is because Joy wakes up in the morning for class, so she gets up. Mind you, this was day one, so they made it seem like this was an ongoing issue. But this happened on day one that Joy got up at like 9 o'clock in the morning to get ready, and Joy was still sleeping. But mind you, it's 9 o'clock. You're supposed to be up anyway. It's 9 o'clock. She's getting ready, and she's not really trying to be quiet. And Joy is like, well, if you can be disrespectful to my space, I'm going to invite a bunch of people to the dorm room to do a project while you're working. Which is like, it'd be different if it was like 5 o'clock in the morning and Joy was doing this, but it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And she stayed asleep until like 1 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon on day one. And she kind of held that against Joy. She never talked to her about it or anything. And then she straight up goes, let me just invite a bunch of people to the dorm room and talk really loudly about an exam while this other person is working. And then when Joy's like, can you not? Like, it's already rude to invite people over when it's our shared space, but y'all are also being like super loud, which is valid. So the RA ends up being called over because Coco like was gonna instigate like a fight because she wanted to step up on Joy, which girl, as big as Joy is, she was probably gonna sit on you. Like you wasn't gonna win. Like if I'm being honest, like Coco was not gonna win the fight because she was saying, I know how to fight, I know how to fight. But just because you grow up around black people don't mean you know how to fight. I know for a fact your Navy parents did not teach you nothing about um self defense because people in the Marines, they don't learn to subdue. If I'm just gonna say they don't learn to fight to subdue. They learn to fight to do damage. Like, so they didn't teach you how to fight. So the RA comes in, makes a decision, and then Joy ends up leaving. And then the nerdy guy that she's with, the one that really likes her, they end up having sex in the dorm room. There's a whole other thing. Then the day after that, she acts like nothing happens because the guy that she quote unquote really likes ends up asking her out on a date and then ends up bringing her to a Chinese restaurant. And the other guy with the glasses is like, oh, so that's how you're playing it. And then there was this also, y'all, there's so much shit going on in this show to where y'all might think that I'm doing shit out of order, but it's really not. So apparently on Coco's like second day of class, she goes to this she goes to class and she ends up asking a question, and the teacher basically invites her to join book's version of the AKA. I don't know why they didn't think people was gonna clock that the sorority was the AKA, but the person who wrote this doesn't know shit about shit because the flyer says business casual. But Coco went to like the princess of the school, and the girl told her to wear business clothes. So then she tries to have this moment of like reconciliation with Joy, with telling her she needs to wear business clothes because it's because it says business casual on the flyer. Nobody knows how to dress because business casual includes jeans. If you wanted them to wear business, you should put business on the flyer. Because what Joy was gonna wear could be considered business casual. And then they end up getting into the sorority. And if you don't know, sororities have like an initiation process where you just have to do something like simple. It's not necessarily hazing because that's illegal. So we see Coco go out on the date with the dark skinned handsome dude, and he brings her to this fuck ass Chinese restaurant, and we get to a cutscene of the girls being like, "Where the fuck is Coco? Like, where the fuck is Coco? We need to hurry up." And then Coco ended up fucking it up for them. This is all Coco's fault. Coco ended up forgetting that they had initiation, and they ended up having to find clothes for her. How do you forget about an initiation to a club or anything?
Mhm.
And because of Coco being late and not even doing nothing right, they have to do this like quote unquote week long like process where they have to like learn more about. It's a whole thing that just it's just so dumb. It's so dumb.
And not to forget, like I remember what episode, but when she Grace went to class. I think it was like an African American studies class, and the teacher had or the professor had asked her like, "What year did school have started?" And she was like, I don't know." The teacher like, and she, I would have been embarrassed. Went back to my dorm. Nah, good.
Facts. I would not have sat in class. Yeah, but I feel like Coco's character at like maybe like episode 4 just blended into the background, and then it just became a bunch of subplots about everyone else. And then it ends with it being like, "Oh, we're all friends and we're all gonna go help Coco's pregnant, maybe not pregnant anymore because I think she got an abortion friend." And it's like, what even happened? When
Yeah,
did they reconcile?
somehow at some point. Oh, I remember when her and Joy quote unquote reconciled. It was because Joy had a like meeting. I forgot the name of the club, but it's basically like black group advocacy for black people and women like who are being like destroyed by the system. And Coco's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know all of this stuff was happening in the black community," which contradicts what she said in
Right,
the
why would you
beginning
not know
episode.
that?
Right. So Joy ends up telling her, like, you have to recognize your privilege because Joy told her earlier that she had privilege. And she was like, you have privilege as a non black POC that us black people have. Like you have, and if you really want to be like, if you really want to help this community, you have to shut up, listen, and step up when you need to step up. So then they end up going to a Halloween party where Coco again dressed up as fucking Chung Li
Bad one.
out of all the things, a bad Chung Li, like not even Party City Chung Li, like AliExpress Chung Li, not even AliExpress, maybe Wish
Which
Chung Li,
isn't she supposed to be Korean?
exactly.
Chun-Li's Chinese and she
And the
So
character,
with
isn't
some,
she like manga?
yeah, she's Hmong.
Yeah.
So nothing in the show is right. But basically, what happened was her friend calls her because they were supposed to meet up after their both respective parties because her baby daddy was at a college not too far away and they had a Halloween thing. So I guess what's supposed to happen is like the boyfriend figured out that she had an abortion and they started arguing, and Tammy called her, and then they was like, "Oh y'all, we gotta go. Something's going on." So now they're here arguing. Mind you, we don't even know what they're really arguing about. They just start arguing. I don't even think they were saying words. I think they
Mhm.
were just moving their mouths at this point. And then the police rolls up and it's like, what's going on? Mind you, this police didn't show no type of aggression. He was just asking what's going on. Like, what y'all arguing for? Like, nothing was giving the white cop, and I'm gonna arrest all of you and shoot all of you. Like, it was not giving that. He was just asking what was going on. It's a group of girls arguing with a dude, and then not Joy, Coco takes this heroic step, and it's like everything's okay, officer, and then it ends. Mind you, that situation was not even, it wasn't dangerous in any way. No way was one cop gonna try to be like,
I'm gonna shoot all
"He-"
7 of you standing here.
right? Like, it's just small things in the show that let me know the writer was not African American.
Mhm.
None.
Is she like Hispanic? Or they?
She's Dominican,
Oh,
but she's actually black. She's black. 4C hair, everything, but she's Dominican. And turns out,
She no
like,
black.
she has a
she
fetishize.
no
She has
black.
a fetishization of Asian people. Like, people found her Twitter and found all her tweets about saying she wants to make Asian friends and being around Asian people so bad.
This was a fanfic. She got published thanks to Geeky.
With
Right. Also, the times, like, apparently the show was written in the early 2000s or
Mm.
whatever. And it seemed like they tried to change some things to be more culturally relevant, but there was a lot of shit that was not culturally relevant. Like, Coco would have never even gotten into a black HBCU after, at this point, it's been like 3 years since Asians rallied together and got rid of affirmative action.
Mhm.
Then somehow Coco's now financially struggling because her FAFSA didn't go through, which also wouldn't make sense because if both of her parents have their GI Bill, which basically pays for 4 years of college for them after 9/11, Coco technically has 8 years worth of GI Bill. Both of her parents were in the military and presumably didn't use their GI Bill. So that person didn't know anything about military like life at all. They didn't know anything about HBCU life because they just kept on saying fried chicken Fridays. I love fried chicken. Coco just loved fried chicken. And then there was no clubs. So all of the people would just rally up at this poor ass basketball court and play basketball and watch each other play basketball.
wasn't there this one club or unquote club scene where it looked like a restaurant and
Yeah.
everything?
I think it was like one of the Halloween party or something. But it was definitely just someone's
Restaurant,
back of the restaurant.
like at C or something.
When I said towards the end, I felt like it could have been like a really good coming up story or whatever it's called, but just like all those girls together. And I don't know, if she had done that instead of I'm gonna write about an Asian girl going to HBCU,
Yeah,
I feel like it would have been a much better story.
yeah, like
Because she
better
fleshed
writing.
out all of the side characters and all of their lives, and then stopped focusing on Coco. So now it's just like, well, she's like a background character in her own main story. You could have just wrote about
Because I
everyone.
think, because I think the writer, I genuinely think she wanted to be a black person to go to a predominantly Asian school. Like it felt like, oh my god, if I could, I would go to Japan or Korea and attend college and be the only black person in this university. Which, if you know anything about Asian colleges, that shit is not for the weak. It's not even for their own people. Their own people don't even want to go to
Hmm.
college in their countries. They trying to go to the US.
Yeah,
One, the US schools are better, but the curriculum isn't so extraneous.
because
Like,
the suicide rate in like Asian countries, like testing.
Yeah, and over there, it's like if you don't get into the top schools, what's the point?
Yeah,
It's
you
like you can
might
get
as
into any other college, but it doesn't matter if you're not in the top 2 schools.
yeah, you might as well be a janitor. A lot of pressure.
yeah, it's like either go to the top school or figure out a way to go to college in either Europe or America, but America was preferred because going to college in Europe don't mean shit. No offense, but it was like it would have been way more believable. Also, the place, like you're telling me she's in Georgia. She could have went to college in Duluth or something. She could have went to college where it's nothing but Asian people. Like fuck, she could have even went to UNO in Louisiana. All the Asian bitches go to UNO, like engineering degrees. Like I'm not even like saying that to joke around. All the Asian people go to UNO. Like it didn't make no sense. Like HBCU, and then you go to HBCU, ain't know shit about the college.
And like, why I didn't know, like, coming here to Texas, there's a lot of Asian people here in Houston specifically that I know. Like, well, I know there's a lot of bit people, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other.
Like it would have made more sense if she was trying to connect with her culture. But I guess some Asian people might feel that way. They're like, I've only been around black people my whole life. I do not feel like switching it up. Because that's kind of how it is in Louisiana when there's like Asian people who specifically grown up around black people. Like they don't try to imitate or emulate blackness, but they're just like, I've just been too comfortable. Like they find other people in their community kind of like jarring in a way of like their behavior. But this wasn't even that. It was like I at some points I feel like Coco genuinely thought she was like black.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because the baby hair, the earrings, the bamboo,
The clip on ponytail,
the quote
like
unquote black scent she kind of put that faded every once in a while.
the cone bread,
Cornbread. I just feel
catfish, and
like she had like a black mother. I don't think any black mother would really have her Asian child thinking that they're black. They're black. I don't know. We know how some mixed people are when they have white moms versus black moms. I don't. I don't think that would have happened.
yeah.
But there is this
You're telling
one,
me they're in the news. They have an Asian kid and they just never went back to Korea.
or at least like,
Like
in, give her some type of information or like about Korea.
Mhm.
the whole thing was just weird, and Kiki should have never signed off on that. Did Kiki read that screenplay, read the premise, and was like, "Yes."
I feel like it's also just common for like a lot of adopted kids to be more interested in where they came from, like wanting to learn about that. So I think it would have just made a lot more sense if she like was
Yeah.
Americanized and went to Korea instead of whatever this was.
Or if she was disinterested, like I know a lot of other adoptees are like that too. They either don't care, like they're indifferent about it, or they really want to know their culture.
Hmm.
In that case, Coco wouldn't have still went to a HBCU. She probably would have just went to a regular college. Like a premise would have been she just would have went to a regular college. She joined, like somebody convinced her to join the Asian Association at their school, and then people would have questioned like why she doesn't care about like where she come from and stuff like that. And that could have been a moral dilemma, like why
Hmm.
don't I really care about like where I'm from and stuff like that. And then them slowly being like, I think I just want to even like indulge back in their culture, but just go visit the homeland, you know?
That would
I
have
feel like this also would have been like a good take on speaking on the kind of issues Black Americans and Asian Americans have. Like this could have been like a good show to have a talking point about our histories together. And I don't know, the author did not do that.
I feel like if there was more budget and a better writer,
A better writer.
yeah,
A completely
and
different writer.
Yeah.
way better student,
We could have wrote a better
it
story.
would, yeah, it would have been
Netflix. Get on it quick.
Nah,
bad.
cause Netflix tried that shit. Remember when they did that and
Well,
it
I
was about the girl who was Asian and she went to school in Korea, and she was like, I'm being out Korean by the white girl, and they tried to make the white girl who knew Korean seem like a Korea boo, but it was like, girl, she just know Korean and
Uh,
studied up on the culture.
I
The whole thing, it was really cringe.
I didn't know that.
but
Never mind Netflix.
yeah, I would say. Well, I don't know about Netflix anymore because like their how they do live action anime. I don't. I know how they like perhaps like I don't know. Eat, I don't,
I don't know. The show is just very 10 out of, not even 10 out of 10. It's very like 2 out of 10
Yeah.
at least it was shot like in my recent.
on the low end of semi.
At least it was watchable. Like I was able to see what.
It was watchable but very forgettable.
Yeah,
Very forgettable.
hmm
the comments were.
They were. It's like some
Well,
people were like, I love this show. All right.
no, you didn't.
Who are you lying to?
It's usually probably someone probably relates to the writer. Probably
Yeah.
actually, or is the age? Well, kind of relates more to the age, probably in a way. Like I don't see how actually we could make a
Hopefully they won't come out with season 2.
we can
Let's
make a
stop here.
we can make a better show on it on Discord. This for free
Facts.
for free.
Let's hope Keke Palmer just learns her lesson. Well, Keke Palmer doesn't because she told
She
people if you
won't.
didn't show you wasn't an intellectual. But girl, no intellectual is gonna see that show and think, "Oh my god, this is good." They're gonna just point out everything wrong you did.
That
Well,
No more of that.
yeah, there's another show y'all want us to watch. Make it good, because I don't think I could sit through that again.
hopefully doesn't have better giving very much to roasting actually.
And I've seen better tubies than whatever that was.
Yeah,
Right. Maybe if it was on Tubi, would have been better, but Tubi probably told her ass no.
probably. But they put everything on that'll be
Mhm.
say it,
I think it's
do the same.
because Tubi shows have more structure. Oh my god! So if Quan Mills apparently has a Tubi deal, I will be watching.
Not
I
gonna
will
Yeah,
be
we can add
watching.
that to the list.
uh,
But like because his books were like the book that we read, it was insane, but like plot twist,
that.
it was crazy.
Cause
It
imagine
was it was
watching.
better than what it should have been.
And
Well, that's all we have for today.
yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.